Katherine Zappone has decided not to accept that role of UN Special Envoy for freedom of expression and freedom of opinion. Philip Ryan is political editor with the Irish Independent. Philip, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a roller coaster over the last couple of days. It's just a little over a week since it emerged that she had been appointed to this role, this special envoy role, for freedom of expression and opinion. And amidst lots of various complaints about the appointment in the first place, and then this party she held in the Merrion Hotel in the second instance, she's decided not to go ahead with the job. She's decided that there's too much criticism of the appointment, and everyone isn't behind it, I suppose. And she's decided that it's best just to turn it down and move on with life.
In her statement, has she said why she is not accepting it? Is it because of this event at the Merrion Hotel? Is it because of the appointment process? What are the issues?
It seems more, she makes no reference to the private function she's had in the Merrion Hotel on July 21st. Rather, she's talking about the fact that she was, I suppose, the controversy around the appointment and the fact that people were questioning it and that everybody wasn't weighing in behind it. She says it is clear that criticism of the appointment process has impacted on the legitimacy of the role itself, she says, and for this reason she has decided not to go ahead with it. In these type of incidents, perhaps, and her thinking may be that if you're going to be representing Ireland on the world stage and you want the full backing of cross-party, cross-public support, of course, as well, it's not just all about politics. You want to be doing this job on the basis that everyone is behind you in doing it. And I suppose that is the main reason why she seems, according to this statement, that she is stepping down.
Do we know what that event was held for?
The event in the Merrion seems to have been for friends and colleagues. So she had come back to Ireland. She had done an interview on RTE. She was seeing people. She seems to be based in New York predominantly at the moment, and she had come back to Ireland. This is an event that told that there was a few politicians there. There was some civil servants she may have worked with, former colleagues, some friends. And it was there. It was a nice evening. I don't think it was a crazy party or anything like that, but there was a large number of people there. There was about 50, and they were all sectioned off in tables of 6. And I'm told it was policed quite well that you couldn't have 8 or 7 people sitting at a table. But with all these events, if you're going to a party of 50 people, you're going to find it difficult to sit with the 5 that you're being placed with. You might see someone over on another table you want to go talk to.
Well, it's hard to imagine that Katherine Zappone didn't move from table to table at some point, given that she hosted the event. She wouldn't be much of a host if she sat at one table for the entire night and 44 other people had to go without her company. Has there been any reaction, Philip, from inside government circles? Because obviously there was a defence of her from various ministers in recent days, from Paschal Donoghue, I seem to remember, certainly from Simon Coveney, from Micheál Martin when he was asked about it last week. I'd wager quite a few of them today were thinking if she doesn't fall on her sword, one of us is going to have to push her.
There was an element of that, but I think one of the main things that was going on in government today was this scramble to find out where these rules broken. Can you actually host an outdoor party for 50 people in the back of a 5-star hotel in Dublin city centre, or 200, as the Merrion suggested that you could be you may be able to do, and that's going on. And I think there's a bit of work still being done on that to find out.
Sorry, Philip, sorry to cut across you. Is Leo Varadkar not the government minister who helped come up with these rules?
Well, this is the thing. This is the strange part of it. And these rules were drafted and mulled over and negotiated only a few metres away from the Merrion Hotel in government buildings. And as Enterprise Minister, along with Catherine Martin, the Tourism Minister, Leo Varadkar was central to devising these regulations and the guidelines to follow. Now, you could argue there are an awful lot of rules and regulations out there surrounding COVID and surrounding various different aspects of hospitality and the different sectors within hospitality, pubs. There's different rules for pubs, restaurants and hotels. And the rules also, they change quite regularly. There's little tweaks done every couple of weeks when more restrictions are being opened and lifted. The Merrion Hotel will argue that they were within their rights under the guidelines of the time of July 21st, because there was no mention of ban on multiple table bookings for outside. It's an interpretation of the rules. I think others would have different interpretations. I think generally I can't speak for the general public, but I know myself, I wouldn't have thought over the last few months and even up to today that I could go out and book a party for 50 people or more, indoors or outdoors. We were told that weddings are only going up recently to
Yeah.
100. So prior to that, could I have booked an even bigger birthday
Well,
party for myself, and a wedding would have to have been smaller?
I can tell people that we tried it today. We telephoned a number of hotels to try and book a group of 50 people in, separated at different tables, and the response we got was mixed. Several hotels saying, absolutely not, you can't do it, it's against the guidelines. So that was our experience on the hard shoulder today.
But others said they could, but others said you could.
Yeah, so there does seem to be a bit of a grey area, and that's the grey area she and Leo Varadkar, it should be said as well, were operating in when they went to this event. I mean, the other thing that Leo Varadkar and others have told us in recent days, Philip, is how important this role is and was going to be. I assume, given Katherine Zappone isn't taking it up, they'll give it to someone else or advertise it?
Well, you'd hope in this instance, given the furore over how she was selected, that there'll be a little bit more of an open competition and a transparent competition for whoever wants to fill the role going forward. Maybe it'll be passed or advertised internally within the diplomatic circles. Maybe it'll be open to the public. There's plenty of people who could represent Ireland on an international stage, I think, in regards to freedom of expression and freedom of opinion. There is questions, Sinn Féin raised them, about whether the role is even needed or not, or was it just, in Simon Coveney's words, a makey-up job for Katherine Zappone. But look, given the political trouble that it has caused, I think they'll have to plough ahead and keep the role and try fill it with someone else.
Philip Ryan, political editor with the Irish Independent. Philip, thanks a million for speaking to us here on the Hard Shoulder. This is a story we're going to come back to shortly after 5 o'clock. I know people are already texting in on this. Some people glad to see the back of Katherine Zappone, others defending her and accusing the media of making a mountain out of a molehill, and making the argument, not for the first time in recent days, that we're not talking about a lot of money here, 15 grand. To that I would say everything is relative, and 15 grand might not break the bank from the state's point of view, but the old age contributory pension at the moment, it's about 12 grand. So you go out and ask an old age pensioner who's trying to survive on 12 grand if they think 15 grand is small change, and see what they say. The other issue we're going to come back to here is the issue of cronyism. And this was cronyism with a capital C. If it wasn't cronyism, what was it? Katherine Zappone used her connections as a former cabinet minister to lobby her former cabinet colleagues to create a role, to not offer that role to anybody else, but to give her the role and to pay her with taxpayers' money for carrying out the role. I mean, it is textbook cronyism. It is the definition of cronyism, and cronyism has been at the heart of Irish politics for far too long. That nod and a wink culture, not what you know but who you know. And listen, I don't think any of us are so naive as to think that we've crossed some sort of Rubicon today, but I think it's a good thing that the Irish people have said, you know what, this isn't good enough and we can't let this happen.